Hello everyone, this is HTSKS here, back with some more StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm action. This time, I am very pleased to introduce both of our players up in the top right side. It is going to be none other than Flash, and his opponent down the bottom left side, making a name for himself this year as well as at the recent MLG. It is going to be Life. So it is going to be a TvZ of epic proportions. Now, I want to mention that Flash, one of the best-known players of all time. I think most of you are probably familiar with him at this point. If you have not seen him on my channel before, not seen him at tournaments before, just know he was the most successful Brood War player. He was the biggest Brood War god, and he is now officially playing StarCraft 2 full-time, and man, is he good. Life, however, again, has made over $100,000 very recently, taking first place in many of the tournaments and actually going toe-to-toe with Flash at the recent MLG. So that series was awesome, and this was played shortly before MLG. This is actually from the special Blizzard launch event that did take place in Korea. Of course, the launch event that I went to was not in Korea, it was in California, which I was there for about 26 hours. This is one of the things that took place during that. Now, basically, this is going to be a two-part mini-series in that they are going to use the Take Command feature. This specific match was to showcase the Take Command feature. So the game you're watching right now, we're going to play it out, we're going to see what happens, and enjoy commentating that, of course. But after that, there's going to be a part 2 where the loser gets to choose, all right, where do I want to take command and get a second chance at playing this game. Now, when I did this with the pro players at the California launch event, it actually changed the outcome of the game every time, thus showing that the decision-making, the control, the micro, and less so the builds has to do with how a game comes out. And, you know, the best players will always do well in StarCraft 2, but a lot of times a couple of mistakes can cost you a very close game. So we're going to just have to wait and see exactly how that pans out. What I'll do for part 2 is actually just pick up the game right where the game was take commanded from, and then we will just finish out the game of version number 2. I'm actually really excited to do this because there's not often that I'm going to be able to get players, especially pro-level players, especially players from Korea. This might actually be the only time where we see them get a replay an exact game. So couldn't be more excited about that, and especially since these two players did play some epic games at MLG, whether it was between each other or whether it was between their competition, it doesn't matter. It was very good. Now, basically, what I'm expecting here from Life, what I've seen of his playstyle, is going to be a Zergling Mutalisk main primary focus composition, which is what he's been using versus Terran quite a lot. Sometimes he'll mix in Banelings there to try and deal with either Hellions or Marines. They aren't really the best at Marauders or siege tanks. So we'll see if he does that. Eventually transitioning into Ultralisks is my prediction. That's kind of the playstyle he did at MLG. That's what we've seen a lot of Zerg players do. And the reason we have started to see a lot more Zergling Muta play again is because the drops of Terran are now much more mobile. You're starting to see drops everywhere, multi-prong drops, timing drops, all sorts of stuff, just because medevacs are so much quicker that Zerg players can't deal with them effectively going roach. So you got to be very careful. And by the way, Flash did go a command center first build here, which is pretty intense. We do have the barracks right there, reactor on the way, and that most likely will be for some Hellions. He could make Marines, I suppose. How many did he already make? Yeah, he's already got 2 down here, so not sure if he's going to be making any Marines or just waiting for the factory to finish. Could easily build a Widow Mine before that reactor finishes here. We'll see, though. Could be a Hellion as well. Or he could just sit and wait. We'll see if he decides to lift that off. So far, looks like he's just going to wait for now. And his wall end is going to be nearly complete here as he does start the depot. Now, this is going to leave a slight entrance right here. I believe that this is not Zergling tight right there. It doesn't look Zergling tight to me anyways, which means that if Life did go for a crazy timing, he would at least have the ability to surround that bunker. But that is not going to be the case right now, as Life is going to go ahead for a relatively early expansion. This isn't the earliest we've seen out of Zerg players. There's going to be the finishing of the wall for Flash. Now, he will be very vulnerable to Banelings right now as his entrance is wide open for that kind of attack, especially if he runs the Banelings right into here. He's going to be able to kill 2 depots and a bunker, which is quite nice. The Zergies are going to be spotting those 2 Hellions as they run on by, and we'll see if there's any reaction here from Life. It could just be more Zerglings. He does have decent creep spread going already, as he does have that designated Creeper Queen, and it is going to be 2 Evo Chambers thrown down to help prevent those from running by. And also, if he is going to be going that Zergling Mutalisk style, getting upgrades is quite crucial Killing off a creep tumor right there, kind of a nice play. And the Hellions are going to retreat right now. They've already got the map control. Now, remember, there is no sensor tower. So, basically, the Hellions are acting as the sensor tower. As the Hellions right now, though, just making sure there's no Zergling attack gearing up, making sure there's no Roach or Baneling gearing up, and it looks like those Lings trying to escape by. It's not going to happen, though. The Queen right there should be able to hold her own for quite some time, and manages to get the creep tumor right there. This is what Flash is kind of known for, is his pretty intense micro. Now, as this game's getting underway, one thing I really want to mention, guys, before it gets too underway, is Heart of the Swarm is an amazing expansion. I'm not saying that just because I love StarCraft. I'm saying that because it's actually an amazing expansion. If you guys did not watch MLG, there was so many good games. Yes, some of the players there were outclassed and they were one-sided slaughter fest, but overall, the game itself is much more action-packed and much more micro-oriented, so it's a great game to watch at the highest level. Highly recommend getting it if you haven't. Now, it does look like right now Widowmine's being aggressive here. The Overlord actually going to be acting as a Minesweeper right now, floating its big old self to try and take out these Widowmines. As you know, it's better to hit the Overlord than it is to hit that big group of Zerglings. If the Zerglings wants to kill off the Hellions, which is exactly what he's going to try to do. He has to be careful here, though, as the Widowmine has burrowed, decides not to activate just yet, and it is going to hit the nearest unit, which is that Overlord. So great control here by Life. That was actually almost magical to watch. Did not end up losing those Lings to the Widowmines. Look at this. The Widowmines have 0 and 1 kills apiece. They could have killed off all those Zerglings, which means that the Hellions could have locked down this expansion. So a great play there by Life. Brings down the Spore Crawler over here to be able to clean these out. And one Widowmine at a time is more, or one Zergling at a time to take out the Widowmines is more than enough. They are going to attempt to retreat. And he's got to be careful. He does get the surround there, though, right at the last second. How he was that cost effective is actually very impressive. I think a lot of the lesser players would have succumbed to some crazy Widowmine hits, but not Life. Now, a Flash, speaking of craziness, already has his third base up before the 10-minute mark. He's got the geysers going down as well. He's got a Widowmine in the back here to help protect this. This is actually something that we saw him do at MLG, because look, this is just basically counterattack potential if you do not find a way to wall this in. Remember, these are not collapsible rocks, so killing these off as Terran is really, there's really no point to that. But if you don't wall it off, definitely need to get a Widowmine back there, which I think we're going to see come into effect here at some point. The Overseer, they're going to be scouting it out. He sees one Widowmine. Might actually be able to see the second right here. And the Zerglings had to get a nice surround there. And here we go. Gotta be careful. The Widowmine, though, manages to kill all of his own units. The arm goes flying. And now the Zerglings are free to just lock down this base. Remember, Widowmines do splash damage to friendly units just like siege tanks do. So you have to make sure to keep your Widowmines away from your units. And unfortunately for him, that didn't happen. Although Life did overextend there a lot with those Zerglings running into that bunker, thinking he could do more damage than he did. I think he will end up losing these Lings as well. And Flash does lose a single Hellion there, but that did even it up a little bit more, although Flash is still losing a couple of units up here. Careful, the Widowmine, as he baits it into his units. Unfortunately for him, he did not see that with the previous Overseer that was there. So a bit of a mess up there, as he had no idea that the Widowmine was waiting. As we do have the creep tumors now. They're getting a little out of control. I gotta say, Life's creep spread is top notch. He started out kind of slow, only using 2 creep tumors at the start, but now he has added on many more. He's going to be going at every angle. This entire map is going to look like jelly before too long. Now, even though this is a Korean-made map, there's actually not that many bases on it, all things considered. The bases in the middle are basically worthless. I don't think we'll ever see anyone take those bases just because they're so difficult to secure. Here comes Mutalisk right now, going to be harassing over here. Looks like they're actually going to be doing quite a bit of damage, but guess what? Marines with the Medivacs and the 1-1 upgrade is going to be good, as the Mutalists themselves do not have any upgrades. Here's the scan. We've got to be cleaning out these creatures. Can he spot that one? Yep, albeit barely. Will be able to kill off this hatchery here. Does he cancel it? No, not today. That's going to be a lot of wasted money, plus the drone. So about 350 minerals lost right there, as we do have the Mutalisk now going to be chasing us down, trying to get the Medivac. Do manage to from the high ground, and a couple of the Hellions so low on HP that just one shot from Meatless was more than enough to take those out. So we'll just have to see if we can finish those off. Hive Tech going to be on the way for life right now. We'll see if he goes for the Greater Spire, but honestly, I'm leaning more towards Ultralisk because he's finishing up 2-2 right now. He's got Baneling speed. He's got the Pathogen Glands upgrade, so he can go for some Infestors. Looks like the Ling's right here trying to make something happen. The Meatless only able to kill a Medivac, which is actually not that big of a loss for the Zerg, but he is still behind right now. Life has got to be super careful because the macro of Flash is going to start rolling here. Taking a look at the production tab, you can see the transformation servos are on the way. What that does is allow those Hellions to transform into the Hellbats, which are very good at dealing with Zerglings, and then the Meatless can deal with the the Marines can deal with the Meatless, excuse me, but it does look at the Meatless right now trying to do as much harassment as he possibly can. Now remember, Meatless do control differently than they do in Brood War, so you don't have to clump them up nearly as much. Here's a big drop on the bottom right side. Might actually be able to kill this off before these units get there in time. Even with creep and speed on those Lings, they cannot save it. There's also going to be a drop moving down in the bottom center, as I believe this was part of the initial drop, but not for long, as it is going to the main base. But guess what? Meatless, hello, welcoming party. And this is what Flash, again, is known for with his multitasking, but Life is quickly making a name for himself, not only in tournaments, winning over $100,000 recently, but being able to deal with these drops against Terran is what he's been doing best. There is a drop in the backside of his base, but guess what? Ling's already there to lock it down. These Marines not accomplishing a whole lot right now, as that Medevac's going to attempt to escape. Not sure if it's going to make it, though, or not, but really what Flash needs to do is keep his army alive. He's falling behind in supply here a little bit, and when you're getting closer and closer to maxed out, you do not want to be behind in supply, as either race, the Meatless right here, have got to be careful. Us at the front door might actually be enough here to do substantial damage in the base. The Baneling count, though, being substantially lowered there, a lot quicker than I may have thought, as Flash is going to be continuing the aggression here down in the bottom left side. He's got about 150 supply and is nearly a supply block, but he's going to be able to clean this up in his main base. It does look like the Zerglings, though, still getting a nice surround to clean those out, and all of a sudden it is up to Life to clean it out. Looks like his Banelings, though, going to get some crazy good hits with the Blinding Cloud. These units all of a sudden becoming worthless as the Viper shows up just at the right time. Remember, you do not need a Spire for Vipers, so if he ends up losing that Spire, it is okay. It's not the end of the world. The Ling's over here, though, not killing those SCVs. That could be the end of the world because he needs to deal as much damage as possible. 3 Hellbats and 2 Marauders going to attempt to lock down an expansion. The drop over here killing off several drones before eventually getting cleaned up. And you can see right there the Meatless doing a outstanding job and is going to be able to do that. Apparently I pushed so many buttons my computer didn't like me, but we're back. We are back as the Meatless right now going to be able to clean everything up. Life is stabilizing a little bit, but can you call it stabilized? Losing 2 bases in the midst of all that chaos, unable to kill off too many more bases of Flash. Flash may lose the supply depot right here, though, if he decides not to repair it, as we do see lots of mules being dropped up here. If those mules get killed off, that is going to be absolutely crazy bad for Flash, but I don't think that's going to happen. And actually, that'll really be what keeps Flash in the game, because you got to remember he's only on 3 bases right now. So being able to mine at this rate, it's a card that he can pull once, maybe twice more before he's starting to get mined out. His natural just for some reason has so many resources left over. Not quite sure what's going on there. It does look like this expansion down here has been taken out once again. Now, what I've noticed about Flash's playstyle in ZVT is he definitely plays the deny game. A lot of times the Zerg players are the one playing the deny game, but what I mean by that is denying those expansions is all Flash is worried about, because he knows that, hey, even if I lose a drop, but I'm killing a base every single time, then the Zerg player's never able to get a base advantage on me, which overall in TvZ favors the Terran. And I think that is exactly what he's going for. His 2-2 done, his 3-3 on the way. We do have Zerg attacks level 3 on the way as well. No armor quite yet. We do have the Ultralisk, though, with the chitinous plating. So the Viper's ready to go, and they've got a lot of energy. Overall, I believe he has 5 Vipers on the field, which is about as many as you'll see a Zerg player get. Sometimes they mix in more, but at some point, the diminishing returns on those is not really in your favor, because, you know, yeah, you can do Blinding Cloud and all that, but you got to remember that they basically have unlimited energy as long as you're using that consumability on your building. So if you make too many, then you don't have enough army to actually support the spells that the Viper uses. Because you got to remember that Viper is a support unit. It does no direct damage at all. If you play mono battles and you just go for Viper, you're not going to be killing a lot. You may be able to yoink a lot of things, but not kill them directly. Ling's right there trying to engage. Not a good idea, though. The Ultras might be a good idea. The Blinding Cloud here could be huge. Awesome split here from Flash, but unfortunately, I think he's an observer. It's so difficult to keep up with Flash, let alone while playing, as we do have the Mutalisks taking out Medivacs. They're a beautiful play by Life. He is now in the lead of supply. The drop down here on the bottom right side is going to clean this up. So Flash sticking to his guns. He's saying, all right, 3 bases deny game. Here we go. And he is able to do that. While the Zerg player is now down to 4 bases, he still does have Ultralisk on the way. Flash is going to be very aggressive here. This is what we've seen from him, not only at MLG, but in previous games and in Brood War. Just non-stop aggression with these units. Once his macro gets rolling, he's got to be so careful. He's got to split these units as best he can. He really has no way of dealing with the Ultralisk just yet. He does have the one Thor here. Unfortunately, he didn't use it to focus down those Ultras, and the yoink right there. That is a freebie. That's like just reaching your hand in the money pit and taking out lots of free money. I do love this drop down here, though, as it is attempting to do some damage. Not sure if it's going to be successful or not. Those Lings buying just enough time and actually managing to barely kill off the last Marine there. Those 4 Lings are the heroes of Life's army. The army is going to continue pushing forward here for Flash, though, and all it takes is one favorable engagement. But the problem is that if you don't whittle down that Ultralisk count, it's currently at 7 with more on the way. If you cannot whittle that down, then this small force is not going to be enough. Yes, Widow Mines are nice, but they are not what you need to kill the Ultralisks. Yes, they might be able to do some damage. Yes, they might be able to kill the Mutalisks, but at some point you have to deal with those Ultras. A nice scan right there. He sees what's going on. He knows the Evo Chamber is on the way for the additional consume, which is why you'll see a lot of Zerg players do that. And look at this, intentionally running an Ultras there. So what I'm talking about is those Widow Mines do not do that much versus Ultras. That was 3 Widow Mine hits, and it still remains. There's the big stem, and Flash right now knows he cannot run onto the creep. Can he sit here and fight, though? Blinding Cloud says no. He's forced to back out here. The Medevac's trying to heal, but they can't keep up with the Micro Flash. No one can keep up with the Micro Flash, really. There's also a drop moving down in the bottom center. Can Flash deal with this huge army, though? Widow Mine hits going off. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. I love how he is running into the Widow Mines, actually killing off those. And can he raise the depots as well? I think he will be able to if need be, but the drop down here is going to take out another hatchery, it looks like. Although those 5, 6 infestors now moving down there, and the Ultras do eventually get cleaned out. Flash has actually done it. Overall, resources lost is about the same. The main concern, though, for Flash is getting up another base. He's going to lose all these units down here as well, just pushing the Zerg supply further and further ahead. Can he fungal on the Medivacs? No, they actually managed to escape right here. I don't think they're going to do that much. Might be able to kill a Spire, but at this point, Spires are not really that crucial. Does get some free Mutalisk kills, though, which is not bad at all. Going to be padding that unit's loss tab, but with the 6 infestors, that is a sick combo. You get the Fungals, Blinding Cloud, and the Ultras for the splash damage. That's how you got to play it out. Lings, though, finally get the can't really allow Flash to get 1 or 2 more bases. Otherwise, it is going to be bad news bears. Does drop a lot of mules up here, though, in the top left side. If he can hang on just for a little bit longer, he might be able to get back on his footing, or get back on his feet and get a good footing. 129 to 138 supply. Planetary is on the way. Does Life decide to go for it? I don't think Blinding Cloud's going to really help on the Planetary, but everywhere else, yes. SCV's pulled off the line as well, but guess what? Ultras love Blinding Cloud. SCVs hate Fungal, and it does look like right now Flash backed into a corner, not going to be able to really recover here as these Ultras just going to town. How many Ultras are actually left up here? It looks like 4 with the 5th one down on the south side. The 1 mining base for Flash here does get taken out. That's actually looking great for Life, although Life has lost a lot in this engagement as well. So Flash just needs to hang on as long as he possibly can. Focuses down 1 more Ultra. Can he get a second one? There is one in the back that is quite weak. Decides not to go for it, though. He doesn't know where those infestors are, where the Fungals are, and production tab does show 7 Marines, 1 Marauder. No production here for Life right now because he's just not really mining. I mean, he's just now transferring over these drones to, I guess now it's his 3rd base, as the other bases have been killed in the midst of all this chaos, as Life doing a good job of hanging on, but Flash doing a good job of doing exactly what he needs to from this behind position. Because right now, I mean, look at this. Yeah, you're not going to be expanding there anytime soon, buddy. And it does look like he actually managed to kill off some of the stuff that was here, so his creep should begin to recede. But what he really needs to do is clean up the rest of these creep tumors here to actually make something happen as far as expanding is concerned. So we'll see if he decides to scan just yet. Decides, nope. Oh, there he goes. Goes ahead and drops it because he knows he needs that expansion. Does Life decide to go for the counterattack? Is he going to try to engage this army directly? We are about to find out. The Ultralisks right there going to back out. Overall, though, Flash a little bit ahead in the units lost, but this is about as close as it can get. This is when games start to get really epic, is when every single resource matters, when you start getting mined out in your safe bases, and you're kind of forced to start landing in less safe ones. I think actually landing over here might be a good idea just to delay that long-distance mine. That's actually exactly what he's going to do. So me and Flash on the same page, at least for one thing. The fungals on this army could play a huge role in the upcoming battle with the Ultralisk and Blinding Cloud. I think those fungals may have actually been just a tad bit premature, but we'll just have to wait and see consumability being used on these basically disposable buildings. So he is working on +3 armor from this, so he wants to make sure not to actually kill it off, which would be hilarious if he forgot about it, and he does. So that +3 armor is not meant to be. We'll see if he starts it up on the other one, but here comes Flash. You gotta watch out for the fungals and the Blinding Cloud, though. Point, all he needs is minerals. Every single mineral he can get is going to directly contribute to his army size, where Life, on the other hand, does not have that much gas, so he might just get stuck with the Zergling tech if he cannot find a way to begin mining more of that gas. Now, we do see the Zerglings up here trying to make a move, but Flash is too heavily defended, at least for now, and I gotta say, Life should probably go ahead and transfer workers into these geysers. He desperately needs it, but he also needs another base, which is why he's expanding up the top left side, and taking a look at the army supply tab, 55 to 56. This is about as close as it gets. Now, the worker supply is definitely favoring Zerg here, but the lower the amount of resources on the map gets, the less those workers actually matter. So we'll have to see if Flash is actually too far behind at this point, or if he can do it. I mean, he's not that far behind in supply, at least for a TvZ, based on how this game's been going, but Flash cannot drop a single engagement right now. He is going to go ahead and get the concussive shells, which is so interesting to me that players do not get this upgrade any earlier. They used to get it every single game. Now they almost never get it. But I guess versus Zerglings, it's not really going to help you out. But I think Flash just wants cost efficiency as much as possible. And there's a fungal right there. Can he kill off any of the infestors? Not quite yet. The Marauder right there getting one infestor kill and might be going for some of the drones over here. Yes, he will. So this could be the hero Marauder, but... oh, no, he just stemmed there. That's the only damage he's taking. There's another Marauder down south trying to kill him off. Of course, Marauders do not do additional damage versus drones, but when they have +3 attack, they don't do too bad. And another drop over on the left side might get cleaned up, and it does. Flash doing every single thing that he can to keep himself in this game. The drones actually managed to finish off that Marauder. They'll probably go ahead and get back to work here relatively soon, as the drop over here is just buying Flash as much time as he can. Flash realizes, I need to mine somehow. And unfortunately for him, it is only going to be that one base. I love this continued droppage, though, killing off more and more drones. That worker lead now has been sliced down substantially here. The Ultras, again, going to be chasing this down, but this is definitely just watching, like, an art form with how active both these players are with their units. There's going to be a major battle over here. The Fungals cleaning up everything as Flash was focused on the drop, I believe, gets caught out of position, and then all of a sudden, he is not in the best of shape. He does still have some units over here. He's just known for being able to always macro units. Oh no, the SCVs! This is the last thing keeping Flash in the game. He decides to turn around and engage. I think he should have waited for the Marines, but maybe he didn't want to run over the Widow Mines because he would have ended up losing those SCVs to splash damage anyway. Does have a couple units inside this medevac for droppage. Might be able to kill the base up in the top left side, but with the Zerglings right there, they're just going to eat that as it is unloading. And does he have enough here to actually do that much damage? Doesn't look like it. Decides to load up. And look at these Marauders and Marines. They are yellow, red, and orange, which is never good at all. The Zergling run by over here is intercepting some reinforcements. Both these players actually just kind of everywhere. Crazy high APM. Units lost here is starting to favor Terran more and more. However, Flash has not been able to establish a base, so you can stuff just yet. The drop here is continuing. Can he do any game-breaking damage with this? Might be able to kill the Hive Tech. That would be nice. Might be able to kill the Ultralisk Cavern. That would also be nice. But we do have the Corruptors on the way, spawning pool on the way. Oh no, not enough energy for Fungal actually, so this medevac is going to get out of there and decides to unload on the backside. But guess what? The Marauders are already here, and man, are they pissed. It does look like he's going to have to load up and get the hell out of there. This other medevac only has 1 HP. How does a medevac seriously fly and heal when it's only got 1 HP? I would not want to ride on that. Again, if your Alaskan Airlines flight ever has 1 HP, probably better just to go ahead and check into a different flight. But here comes the drop up the top left side. Don't think it's ever going to see the light of day, though, as Life doing everything he can to deny these drops. He's bought enough time for himself now to have a healthy Ultralisk count. He's got 7 on the field, 4 Infestors, only 1 Viper, but could easily get full energy on that for Blinding Cloud. So we'll have to wait and see. Still anyone's game. Overall army supply is about even here. Flash actually has a slight lead, so this could go either way. The Marines in the bunker, Marauder as well, actually protecting this location quite well. A drop in the top left side just showing you how equally matched these players are, but no one has any units that they can actually afford to lose right here. There's the big scan, going to be chasing down the Infestors. If he's not careful, he's going to get Fungal. Needs to split up as best he possibly can. 1 Fungal goes down. Not the greatest. Medevacs can heal through that, but not much more. Here comes the army. This is going to be the last battle. The Fungal on the south side of the army might be enough to actually clean up everything. These Ultras doing massive, massive damage. I do think Flash definitely made a slight misclick there and ended up taking the ultimate price with those Fungals. Can Flash actually micro himself to a victory here, though? And remember that Ultras just are not that fast. Another Ultra goes down. He's working on a third. Can he actually get it here? He's almost out of units. He's almost out of money. I don't think he has a whole lot back at home, and he may actually barely lose this game to Life. What an absolutely outstanding showcase, though. I cannot imagine a better game to showcase not only the take command feature, but also how exciting Heart of the Swarm is going to be. This is actually the first game I'm casting, too, so imagine what else we'll see in the future. The Ultras right now are going to be going ahead and taking out the main base. This army is going to be stimming and running south, but 3 Widow Mines is not enough. Yeah, you can bait him into the Widow Mines, but it's still not going to be enough. The Ultra is not even activating those just yet, as we do see the Infested Terrans coming out to help absorb some of the damage from these units that are still going to be spawning. We have 1 Marauder, 3 Marines on the way, and GG, there it is. Now remember, guys,